Welcome folks, today we're going to take a look at the brand new patch that just released for Vanguard EX on both the PS4 and the Switch. So this is a really important update, so it's worth to go over the patch notes. This is my second time recording this because I started editing it and then I realized that I had muted my mic. This time it's definitely fine, but yeah, so this video is a bit delayed because it was supposed to go up a lot earlier, so apologies. But anyway, let's go through it. So, the update is version 1.0.2. And it did release on the 17th, so a couple days ago already, so that's why this is late. So we're going to take a look at all the updates one by one. First things first is they say that they updated, fixed quite a few bugs with cards and AI. Unfortunately, they don't list them, and there's a few things that, you know, the players have been testing to see if the bugs are still there. One prominent thing was like Emmy would like make a new Axel circle playing melody and stuff like that. So bugs like that, I think, are being squished, but I think the Reiko slug bug is still there, unfortunately, so I'm sure they'll fix it eventually. They're still hard at work in the game, but, you know, these things do take a bit of time. But so that's good to know. I wish they gave us a detailed, you know, list of what they fixed and what they didn't, but yeah, you know, it's okay. Then, this one is basically that when you attack with a unit to the opponent's Vanguard, now when it shows like on the right side, I'll show footage over what I'm saying, is like on the right side you'll see that now instead of just showing the power of the attacking unit, it also shows the critical, but it's only when you use that unit to attack the Vanguard, so that's pretty important. Then the second skill is you can do now is during fights you can show the skill boxes of a card separately. So because before you could only just press X to enlarge the card and then you would like see the full card, but the text box is still a little bit small, especially if you're playing on handheld on the Switch. So now what you can do instead is essentially press the X button to view the card and then press minus on the Switch to view the skills specifically. On the PS4 this will be pressing triangle and then double tapping the touchpad on the PS4 controller, and then that'll let you see it. So it's a little bit different, but I mean, it's a nice addition. I think, especially if you're playing on handheld mode on the Switch, that's definitely a nice addition, so I do like that. This one is really good. Basically what this one says is, even if there's no unit on a circle, it will still show the gift icon of that circle. So if you got an Axel 1 or Axel 2, previously you wouldn't know if it was that, but more importantly, you wouldn't know how many force markers you have stacked on a circle unless you called the unit over it. So this is really important because, especially if you're playing a deck like Shadows where you've stacked a lot of force markers on one circle, it's good to know how many are in each circle before calling, and it wouldn't show previously. So that was a complaint I had, and I'm really glad they fixed that. So I'll show some footage where you can see the Axel 2 actually popping up before the player calls something on it, so it's definitely crucial in my opinion. Then another one that I haven't, seen in my gameplay yet, but it does exist, is when you ride from a grade 3 to another grade 3, there will be basically a notification that asks you for confirmation if you are sure that you're going to ride up to the grade 3. So this is just to make sure that people don't misride by accident, which does happen sometimes. Like if they think that they're about to call a grade 3, but then they don't realize they're in the right phase, then, you know, it's good for those reasons. I definitely think that's a good addition, just to kind of foolproof things. Then this one's also quite nice. I think it's good for especially like players that don't speak Japanese. When you're building your deck and you add a grade 0 normal unit to that deck, it will instantly be counted as the FV, so the first Vanguard. So this is really good because this was, before you had to press down on the analog stick, and some people, like, at first I didn't realize that I even had to, so I think it's just good to avoid confusion, especially for players that are still to buy the game. I think it's definitely good. Then here, this is rewards for clearing the story. So now if you clear the story for the first time, you will receive a certain number of VP. And so when you clear the main story, Shido Izuru's story, you gain 10,000 VP, which is quite a lot. So you'll see here, I'll put some footage of me receiving it. And then for every other character's story that you clear, you get 5,000. So I already cleared Ren's at the time of recording this, so I got an extra 5,000. And then when you clear Kai, Aichi, and Kazumi, you get another 5,000. That's good because it's good for opening packs, and it just, you know, helps you build decks faster. Then these are, also that's important to say, is that even if you've already cleared the story, you will gain that VP just like I did. So whether you have already cleared it or haven't touched it at all yet, you will still gain that VP once those stories are cleared. Then changes or fixes to fights. Well, actually quite a few changes. First things first, thank God for this one, in free fights and in ranked fights, you will receive more VP. So I'll show some footage here of me going through. You'll see that there's the last thing on the reward screen shows just 500 VP for playing a rate fight, so playing a ranked fight, and that's really good because just whether you win or lose, you'll gain 500, which is really nice, and that's honestly a great addition because previously if you lost in ranked, you just wouldn't gain much. That was a bit of a issue, I guess, so it's nice that they are increasing that to quite a big extent. Then, this second one is when you have a win streak bonus. In ranked fights, the bonus that you receive is going up, so it's going to be a bigger bonus. I haven't gotten a win streak. I only played one game after this patch got released, so essentially when you do get a win streak, then you will be getting more of the rank points. So that's definitely good if you're trying to chase for like high ranks like 1,500, 2,000. Definitely very cool. I like that quite a lot. Then they changed the timers for raid fights. So not for story fights, not for free fights, but specifically for the raid fights. So during your turn, it used to be 300 seconds, and now it's going down to just 3 minutes, 180. I think this change is fine. I don't think you need more than 3 minutes to make your turn. And I think it will speed up and like it'll prevent stallers at least. So I think this change is definitely welcome. This is the one that I'm not too sure on, which is the opponent's, the defending turn player goes from 120 seconds to 90. Now, 120 was 2 minutes, which I think is perfectly fine, but 90 can sometimes be a bit complex. Like if you're like close to losing and you're really thinking about like, oh, what should I discard for my PG? How should I guard these attacks? Like when should I take a defensive? You might actually be thinking for quite a bit. And I think 2 minutes was a good enough period without it feeling like it was stalling if someone did use that full period. So I think 90 seconds, I don't know. I haven't properly played enough games yet to see whether this affects me enough, but let me know if it affects you. So, because I'm sure there's a lot of you playing the game, so let me know if this change has affected you or not. But for me, I'm not sure yet. I'll see how it is, but I'm a bit like unsure about this one. Then, this is a change that they made where basically the amount of rate you gain will differ depending on your position. So basically, if you have 1,000 or less rate, so if you're below the 1,000, which is the starting rate, you will gain rate faster. So they basically help you catch up if you've fallen low, which is really good because some people, like I've played against some people that were like 600. So helping those people climb back up with a few wins will definitely be good. I wonder how big that increase is, so if you've experienced this, please do let me know in the comments. I would be very much interested. Then, this is important. In a free fight or in a raid fight, if somebody disconnects, then their win streak is reset to 0. So I don't know because I never disconnected, but I'm assuming that if you DC from a fight, it doesn't actually kill your win streak because it counts as a draw. So with this, you will actually just lose your win streak. So I think that was one of the reasons why people were disconnecting, because they could protect their win streak. So this is a really nice change. And finally, the last one, which I think a lot of people will be really happy about, is that in raid fights now, when you would disconnect, so in ranked, when you would disconnect, you will lose rate. So this is good. So if you were disconnecting to protect your rate, you know, it doesn't explicitly say that you lose and thus lose rate, but I think it's just like if you disconnect and I don't know, you force a draw. I don't know if it does force a draw, but you will lose rate. So I think what they're trying to do here is to not change the whole system to lead to the DC player actually like DCing player have a loss. But what they're trying to do here, I think, is just that when if they do want to disconnect just to force a draw, they'll actually come out on the low side for this. So their kind of system of punishing players into the low priority queue wasn't, I guess maybe wasn't enough, or wasn't effective enough, or they didn't enforce it much maybe. But with this, you know, with them specifically losing rate if they disconnect is definitely a good thing. Sadly, I mean, if you do have a spotty internet and you do disconnect, not because of malice, but just because like your internet sucks, this is a bit unfortunate for you. So I'd be careful with joining ranked, because make sure your internet is stable. Don't join it, you know, in the middle of like a storm or something where it might just go out. So yeah, I would be careful with that. But I mean, I think with most people that have stable and consistent internet, it should be fine. the last things here are just like, you know, when if you want to play World Fight, then you do have to download the latest update. So make sure you download the latest update. On the Switch, it's really easy, and then on the PS4, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure it does it automatically anyway. Because for me, on my Switch, it did it automatically. As long as it's connected to the internet, it's gonna be fine. So yeah, this is a pretty big patch. In all honesty, I like it a lot though. There's some things that they basically just made better that just make the game more comfortable and more like enjoyable to play. The only thing I'm questioning right now is the defending player's turn timer. That might be a little bit short, but they can always adjust that back to 120, so I don't think it's really an issue. But I think all these other changes, like punishing players that disconnect, giving the players that lost a lot a better chance, also just like the extra VP bonus and all that stuff, and extra ranked point bonus, like that stuff is really great. Extra VP for story clears, it should have been in the game to begin with, to be honest, but the fact that they added it in now, like without waiting too long, it's only been a month, is definitely very good. And then all these other little fixes and changes to make the game a bit better is nice, because I mean, I think that like displaying the critical next to the power doesn't matter that much, but like some of these other ones, like the viewing the skill, I think is pretty nice. And then this prompt of like when you ride from grade 3 to grade 3 is also really good, and especially showing the gift marker without a unit in the circle, super important. So these are nice. I wish we got some actual details on the bugs that they fixed, but I hope they fix all of them down the line, because I mean, they're not adding any new cards, so there's no excuse to leave bugs in the game. So I really hope that this isn't the last update, but I'm pretty sure it won't be. I think we'll still get a couple more before they stop working on the game and start working on the next one. So that's gonna be it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think it's important to go through these patch notes because it's a lot of important stuff, and for those of you that are still playing the game, that are still going through the rank fights and stuff like that and testing for your BCSs, it's pretty crucial. I think this will affect things quite a lot. It will make the ranked play a lot more pleasant, I think, as well, and in general the game is just more fun. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check me out on Twitch. I do stream both this game and other games, so if you're interested in other stuff like Legends of Runeterra and Shadowverse and stuff like that, make sure to peep it out. Also, the second channel, I've been uploading some Legends of Runeterra stuff on there as well, so make sure to give that a look because things are getting pretty exciting. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.